Welcome, Gary.
Pleased to be here. How you doing?
Oh, great, eh? Great. We've enjoyed our meetings and our couple of beers with some recruitment founders in RecWired yesterday.
A couple of beers in recruitment. Who'd have thought it?
I was going to say, it's never just a couple, is it? There's always a. I say, well, as I said on my previous podcast, I think we counted those 7 each of my expenses receipts from last night.
Good of you to bring the jib weather with you as well, Dualta.
What's going on, eh?
It's tropical over here at the moment.
It is super tropical. Gary, give us a rundown in your background. 10 years at Bullhorn.
10
Where did it
years.
all go wrong?
Just surpassed. Yeah, quite. I had hair once. Yeah, it's been a phenomenal journey, whirlwind. You know, genuinely, when you look back, you think, where has it gone?
Yeah.
I think Bullhorn was my calling in life. I've loved every minute of it. It's a great industry. It's a great
What
company.
did you do before?
I've always been in software sales. I actually worked for a company called Usable Net prior to Bullhorn, who it's hard to imagine a world now where mobile devices don't have 5 and 4G and every coffee shop and pub doesn't have Wi-Fi, but they pioneered web apps and web applications. And so I was only there for a very short while because that particular sort of world was changing and a lot of companies were going down a responsive website journey. But at the time, they were powering the biggest brands in the world with their e-commerce operations. So BA, American Airlines, M&S, John Lewis, Harrods, these were all clients of mine at the time.
Yeah.
And it was like phenomenal. And it was probably my first exposure to genuinely pioneering technology. Yeah. And obviously working with those enterprise clients, sort of I found Bullhorn found me. It was a bit of a coming together. So it was obviously destiny in some respects. Yeah. But I then came into Bullhorn as an enterprise account manager, working with some of the largest brands that we had on our books at the time. So your Randstads and your Morgan McKinleys and the like. And then there's been a few roles along the way since. But 10 years in, I now manage our net new mid-market logo acquisition team.
What do you count mid-market as?
So anything really ranging from 11 heads at the low end to a top end really of 253, 300. But that low end, even those businesses are starting to think more maturely about their tech provision. They're through that embryonic stage and starting to recognise the competitive advantage that tech can bring. So,
what was it like coming into the recruitment sector from something else? Like, because 2015, you're in.
Yeah.
Like the market's actually not bad in 2015. There's a bit of an oil and gas crash happening somewhere.
IR35 that was 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When that came in.
So what was it? What was it like? Were you surprised?
I could just about remember back then, by the way. It's a long time ago now, but it was great. I think in some respects, Bullhorn at that time was not too dissimilar to where Usable Net may have been on their journey 3 or 4 years prior to me joining them. I think I was employee number 430, 440, something in that region. Really? We had an established presence in the UK by this point. I think there were many businesses. You think like your Bond Adapts, back in the day, like everyone's used Bond Adapt at some stage in your career. That was a legacy server-based application. Bullhorn was born in the cloud. It was web-based from the get-go, and so it was different. Yeah. And it was great from really from the get-go. It was great, and of course, everybody knows of our journey since in terms of acquiring some businesses like Cube19 and Herefish. So there's never been a dull moment, and through innovation and through acquisition, what Bullhorn was in 2015 versus what it can do today is just crazy. It's chalk and cheese.
And just dealing with those, what was the difference between coming in and dealing with the Morgan McKinleys of the world to dealing with like an 11-man business, like the personality differences of dealing with a founder-led business to dealing with the corporate entity?
I know
it's chalk and cheese. Yeah. Which do you prefer?
The latter. All day. I mean, the Morgan McKinleys are great. It's great business to be involved in because it's testing. It's complex. It tests your acumen in other areas like security, as a prime example. So knowing a lot more than just the features, functionality at the coalface of your application, but really knowing all of its intricacies behind the scenes as well. And those clients demand that kind of knowledge of you. But a lot of businesses that we deal with are founder owned. Yeah, it's their baby. It's a big decision for them and their businesses, and we actually stay with the businesses that we actually sign. So unlike a lot of companies out there where that paperwork gets signed and off you go to account manager you've never met before, we actually take our clients on a journey from that very initial discovery call all the way through doing the deed, all the way through implementing, and then for a minimum period of 12 months thereafter. And what I have really loved about that, and I'm sure my team, if they were in the room, would echo the sentiment, is that the relationships that allows you to build, not just in a pre-sales capacity, but actually when you've done what you said you're going to do, you delivered what you said you were going to do. That's when I think that trust hits new heights. And there's some businesses out there I've sold to Bullhorn like 7 or 8 years ago. I'm still on WhatsApp terms with them today. We still chat, we still catch up, and it's it's brilliant.
And it's interesting though what you said about the change from your 11-man businesses up to 250, with the 11-man businesses being so much more focused on tech. We're seeing this, obviously we're way behind Bullhorn for a moment, but we're seeing this but we're seeing this day to day. Like the amount of like smaller businesses which I'm coming into contact with now, which do not have plans to grow past 20 or 30 heads, and they're wanting to replace their compliance with X, their referrals with Y, and really build a business which is unbelievably lean, unbelievably lean, but is their sole focus being is like, what can we do to keep our consultants on the phone, but have all the tech speaking to each other right at the very start, so we don't worry about it, because I think I've been through one system change. God, it's the worst thing you ever do. Like, it's awful.
I mean, there's ways of making it easier. Yeah, no one looks forward to that.
No, but is it just? I find it interesting when you're hearing the same thing, because I think there's a lot to be said now for the 11 to 50, 11 plus businesses, and how they are embracing tech quicker and more, and probably, I don't know if you agree, but better than some of the larger companies.
You can't ignore it anymore, and I think, like in times gone by, you would have just said, get on the phone, and they would have just pushed that. But now everybody's had time to pause. They've downsized, and they're all focused on building back better. As the title of our talk tomorrow in Manchester, when we run that event tomorrow, and as part of that, the first thing they're all talking about is their tech stack, and what does that mean? And then I suppose the magic word that we all want to know about is AI. And
took us all of 6 minutes to get there.
I know. What are the questions your customers are asking you on it? What are you guys up to? What are you doing to stay ahead?
Well, I mean, I agree with the sentiment that you've both shared in terms of businesses like waking up to the opportunity that tech is providing them. But I think you've actually just got to go back a few years. Because again, you've said AI, so I'll say COVID. Then those two buzzwords are out there.
Right,
we've done them.
Yeah.
But it was COVID that was a catalyst, a real genuine catalyst for businesses starting to think we need to do more with less.
Yeah.
If you think back to those wonderful times that were where the furlough schemes were in place and businesses were downsizing, there was a lot of panic at the time and all the rest of it. But ultimately, it forced businesses to sharpen their mindsets around, well, we've been operating at this level for this long with X number of people. We're now down here. But we've still got this database. We've still got all these candidates, contacts, clients that we want to engage and and retain and all the rest of it. So we've got to plug a gap. Yeah. And that was the rise of automation, wasn't it? And automation boomed. And it was a great time at Bullhorn, obviously with the acquisition of Herefish back then. But it's that, I think, sentiment that's not in the too distant memory still that is now fueling the AI rush. And if you go to any investor meeting, they'll tell you that recruitment agencies need to operate like tech businesses. And there is such an opportunity to, as you say, be so lean and so efficient. A lot of the reasons why people used to be on the phone years ago actually are redundant now. You don't have to speak to someone to buy a house anymore, buy a car anymore. And so, where does the human fit within the process?
How redundant how so many of the tasks are now. I mean, we've got one Bullhorn client in Australia who's got 185 automations through Bullhorn.
Nice.
And it's saved. I'll get the exact figures, but it's saved them like hundreds and hundreds of hours a week of consultant time. Easy. Now, of course, the challenge you have there is, and it is a challenge, you see, because you're saving with consultants' time, they should be on the phone. So you've then got to go through the journey of actually getting them back on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Using
repurposing the time.
It's not just we've saved you 100 hours. Go to the pub. It's then using it, but it's the but it's I think the power of what I see from that on a day-to-day basis and the time saving ability and the cost behind that is immense.
How far are we off Bullhorn releasing the Ray-Bans and us just logging into the system, putting it on the wall and doing this here and
Minority
talking to
reporting.
Love it. How far are we away? Probably quite some distance, to be fair, but
okay.
on the roadmap. Don't worry.
Yeah. So one of the things you were saying there about, okay, you've got back 30% of your time. What do you do now? The problem that a lot of them will have is they'll go and make that call and it'll be an AI answering the call.
Yeah.
How do we foresee this whole AI recruitment, AI versus internal recruiter, AI? How do we see this playing out?
We've seen, because I've just kind of gone through this on the other side as well. Because we're obviously hiring. We had like 150 applications to one of our roles. And when you go through them, or when we started to, it was obvious a lot of them were done with AI. And then so obviously the argument here is, right, so we need to bring in AI to screen it, which obviously is now an extremely grey area, especially within Europe. So you've got AI speaking to AI, and I think this is where recruiters are always going to have the ability to excel. They've got the personal networks, they can go and see people face to face, and they can get on the phone. And yes, you've got AI talking to AI, but I've done something. It's in tech speak, SDR. I'll be a bit worried if I was there. Yeah, it's never going to be able to do what you do. It might be able to do what I do one day, but we never do. To me, it's never going to be able to really get through at that level. So I think it's for me. It's embedding into the recruiters. What is the reasons that these people have got to answer their phone to you? What added value are you giving them, rather than just saying, "Do you want a job?" or blah 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 blah. What are you putting out there? What is your content like? What is the information you're putting out there, which means people want to pick up the phone to you, rather than divert you through to an AI machine.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, we've also seen some services offer candidates the choice. Do you want to engage with an AI agent, or would you rather a human? And I think there's no stereotype taking place here, but there's usually some demographic disparity between those that uptake the human versus the bot route. But it's just interesting.
Is there? Can you name the demographic?
Well, I think the Gen Zs that have been on their phones since 10-year-olds. I mean, my son is 10 years old. He has a mobile phone. By the time that he gets to applying for his first job, and these frightening concepts, like 8, 9, 10 years time, whatever it might be, he would have had a phone for 10 years. He'd used to WhatsApping his friends, and also, like, I hate to say it, but it's a bit like the Amazon effect. Like, who's ever spoken to Amazon customer support when you're like returning a good or something? Like, you just don't do it. So naturally, I think those that know better, school leavers, grads, they don't expect to talk to a human for certain things now. That's the new norm for them. It's the only norm for them. It's not a new norm. It's the only life they're used to. So, that versus, I don't know, if my mum and dad were applying for a job, they might like the idea of speaking to a human. So there's going to be some disparities, and that's the shift that we're going through. But it is a very interesting concept to think that some people will leave school, college, whatever in the coming years, and literally no different other than this phone in my pocket.
Our generation had the internet when we were young. We're all around the same age, I presume. But we weren't born with the internet.
No.
Right? So that we're not like our parents in that respect, but we're nothing like people who were born with the internet.
Well, my mum still can't believe that I bought a car without speaking to anybody. That blows her mind. She can't fathom it. So that tells you everything, doesn't it, really?
How'd you buy a car without speaking to anybody?
Just go on to Cinch and buy your car.
Really?
Looks good. Delivered to your door. I tell a lie. I answered the door to someone who delivered it, but that was about it. And then if it's not for you, you return it. You got 14 days or whatever.
So you get 14 days test drive.
So convenient. It was great. But Cinch is everywhere now in the UK, and there's obviously other providers like it. But again, it's just 10 years ago, if someone had said you're going to spend whatever on a car, and you're not going to speak to anybody in the process, you're not going to go to a showroom, you're not going to speak to anyone, you'd have said, yeah, whatever.
My last one was, hey, I want this. And they were like, you should get this instead. And why? And they said this, and this. And okay, I'll get that. And that was...
And it's not just buying cars, selling cars. Like, we buy any car, things like that. Like, this is, again, these services that were, it would have been a private sale like years ago. That was the only way you could sell a car, or part exchange, whatever. these services are new digital like revolutions in some respects. But that said, I think there's a lot for recruitment to learn from these non-recruitment experiences. A lot, in fact.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Orca, the online recruitment coaching academy. Get access to live coaching, online courses, and playbooks from the industry's top coaches. Your entire organization can get access for less than the price of one email per day. Sign up today at trainwithorca.com. Back to the show.
And when you look at the future of Bullhorn, is it growth through more acquisitions? Is it building up the marketplace? How does that whole ecosystem work?
I mean, the Bullhorn marketplace is phenomenal. I mean, you've got, I think when I started, there was less than 100 partners in that ecosystem. I haven't got the exact figure to hand, but I think it's now something like in excess of 350. It's mad. And like you were saying yourself, I think a lot of emerging technology players look to partner with Bullhorn first and foremost because of the market share and I think the open nature of our platform. And for a lot of businesses, I suppose that marketplace ecosystem has been a very tried and tested route. It's obviously yielded a lot of success for a lot of businesses around the world. So I don't say there will be further acquisitions. It's a model that has worked really well. The Cube 19 and Herefish acquisitions that I alluded to earlier were game changing in every sense.
Yeah, two great products.
But Amplify, which is our new kid on the block, is homegrown. It's our AI platform that is proprietary and native to Bullhorn. What do I mean by that? Well, Bullhorn is a proprietary platform in its own right, so it's not built on a third party like Salesforce or Dynamics, whatever it might be. And over the years, of course, we've accrued thousands of customers on that database that are all pumping data into essentially the same underlying database. So from an AI perspective, it's a huge opportunity for us because we have an enormous, quite literally enormous data set from which the AI will continue to learn and evolve. And that's obviously
How long before it gets excellent?
We are seeing some great results already. Yeah, it's in different areas. From a screening perspective, we've seen some really good results with certain customers. We've had quite an extensive beta program ongoing, so actually a selection of clients that are really kind of trying to put it through its paces. We've got some new developments due in the new year as well. But from a sourcing perspective, data enrichment perspective, I mean, let's not forget in my sort of remit, businesses of say 20, 30, 40, 50 customers, they've got, in most cases, scores of thousands of records on their database, scores of thousands of CVs. And often the case, and it's not a new narrative to say this, but often it's the case that data has never been really fully utilized and tapped
or
into.
Enriched or...
And so it's just a huge opportunity. Like we can now start to extract data, like unstructured data from CVs and start to enrich fields. I mean, why over the years have many businesses just kept going to LinkedIn and job boards? You think to yourself, but hang on a minute, you've got 100,000 records on your database. You've been in business 15 years, for argument's sake. You are known as an agency, as a niche market operator to so many companies, contacts within those companies and candidates. And yet you're still defaulting to an external source that's a leaky hole in your bucket. And I think the only way that we change that mindset and help to reduce that dependency on external sources is a combination of things, but like start by enriching the data, which will improve the trust in said data, have automation and AI work in that data in a way that human effort alone cannot do.
For example?
Well, like passive candidate engagement being a prime example. If you've got 100,000 candidates on your database and you've got 50 people in the business, simple maths to tell you it's just not tenable. How many of those... In fact, actually, a shameless plug-in for our user groups, but we had a client QCS not so long ago. Charlotte Dennis, if you're listening, this was a great one. But they ran a passive candidate engagement campaign upon going live on Bullhorn automation. So it's the first automation that this business ran. They've had Bullhorn 11 years. This particular campaign goes out to candidates, in many cases that they haven't engaged in years. Hyperlink in the body of the email, takes individual through to a job page on their website who this individual then applies. Long story short, 19K placement fee made in a matter of like days. It all went through very, very quickly. There wasn't a single note on that candidate in Bullhorn for 10 years.
Wow.
Automation found him. 19K. So
if you can do that today, what's it going to be able to do in 2 years?
And this is it. And that's just automation. That's not actually, it's not even an AI play there. But yeah, phenomenal success story. And it just goes to show there is so much gold in these databases, but often it's just a case of it not being worked. It's not being tapped. It's not being.
I've seen that both as a recruiter with a business using Bullhorn, but also with our clients now. Like so many of our clients, because obviously I was a referral platform, they'll have people referred to them who are on the database. We haven't spoken to them in 2, 3, 4 years. You know, one of the businesses I was at beforehand, they had 150,000 candidates on the database, but they couldn't find it. They couldn't find it, and each different team was coding differently. And so, you know, if you were working on a project, you know, you had developers, you had PMs, etc., you were trying to find, you literally wouldn't even know where to start. And obviously, from what I understand of Amplify, this solved all of that. This will literally go into it, and it'll be bringing out V-code and actually bring across best practices.
Yeah, it's really very clever.
Which you know, we've heard from two separate sources. Client meeting today. Anything that we can do to reduce reliance upon LinkedIn at the moment, recruiters are actively looking at and bring them back to Bullhorn.
Yeah, look, it's no secret the cost of LinkedIn's gone.
It's insane.
It's gone insane from the in-mails to the job ads to LinkedIn recruiter costs. Like it's forcing innovation.
I mean, depending on sector, obviously lots of different sectors will have different, I suppose, levels of reliance on LinkedIn and external sources. But whenever I'm in a net new client engagement, I do like to challenge a business around, well, what would happen if you turned off LinkedIn one day a month? Just to put it out there. And sometimes you get I think we'd be okay type response. Other times you'd be like, are you mad? But I think that's a healthy thing for every business who has like lots of recruiter licenses or just has a huge outlay to LinkedIn and job boards. Like, just why is that? You know, and how are you going to move away from that? If LinkedIn go and hike the recruiter license by another 10 grand tomorrow, do you just roll over and take it?
It's a behavioural issue as well, though, isn't it?
Hugely.
One of the again, client that you've introduced us to, Dualta. One of the key areas that they're looking at the moment is how to bring everything back to Bullhorn, because they know that they've got the candidates there, and they at the moment their consultants are so ingrained into going onto LinkedIn, doing research there, and then going to Bullhorn, and they're sat there going,
it's the wee dopamine hit of getting an update on things.
It's
I'm up to 50 likes, yeah. but mindset, habit and mindset. But I think the businesses that are, I think, excelling in these tougher times, and it's no secret, most sectors have had tough times these past sort of 15, 18 months, but they're the braver businesses. They're the ones that are getting leaner. They're the ones that are challenging, looking at their processing and saying, well, actually, we're slow here. We can get leaner by automating this and that and everything else. And LinkedIn's just one facet of many, but it's a huge outlay for most agencies.
Yeah.
And the one they don't always want to address either.
And it's also the one where actually, if they do need to downgrade, but they're stuck on a 3-year contract, so it's a fixed cost that you can't downgrade on, which is.
And I think like now people want to know where is their money in the marketplace. Like that's like, I'm sure when you go and meet your customers, they're like, who's making money? Where are they making it? And you want to be able to pivot quickly. And now, like if you think of like all these tools that we have, if you pair that with Clay, for example, you can build a database straight away. Then you can start using Amplify to start engaging with that database. And then if you have your marketing right, you can start engaging properly on that. And then you can start trying to build a community off the back of that. How's the efforts going in building a community for yourselves?
Yeah, really well. As you're probably aware, we embarked on, I suppose in some guys, it's like a similar mission to RecWide, but just with obviously stark differences. But in so much as we thought we've got all of these clients all trying to succeed and to win. And for anyone who's not aware, like Bullhorn automation is a native capability within Bullhorn. So if you want to configure an automation, you're not needing developers, don't need Bullhorn, you don't need any middleware, like, you know, you drag and drop and like away you go. And we thought, is it a crazy, outlandish, idea or concept to believe that our clients might actually start collaborating with one another? You know, if I share my ideas, would you share yours?
Yeah.
And the industry's been very tight-knit for years. And 10 years ago, this would be like, you're effing mad. But we started out and we thought, let's give it a whirl, because if we can foster an environment where people come forward and share ideas, then everybody benefits. And it's that, I suppose, that strength of the pack kind of argument that kicks in. I think on our first user group, we had 12, and the almighty balmy total of 12 delegates on that call 2 years ago. We've just surpassed 700.
Unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
Founders.
Clients, a mix. We've got founders,
throw
business
in there.
leaders, operational folks, but we've had 700 businesses, and obviously sometimes more than one contact from those businesses. Just shy of 1,000 members in our LinkedIn automation user group now. We're moving to an in-person series next year, so we'll do bi-monthly get-togethers, so that again, all of these people that have got to know one another's on the virtuals,
Brilliant.
they're going to start meeting each other in the flesh. And of course, we created 2 playbooks off the back of it, whereby there wasn't a single Bullhorn idea in those playbooks. They were all real-world,
Of course. Yeah.
real use cases that our clients had said that had an impact for us, a positive one of that.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that's been
a big fan of that.
made available.
We do that with our groups as well. So if there's an interesting conversation, we can clip it, put it get AI then to put it into a playbook, and then straight away you've got some brilliant content.
It's interesting to hear about, because 10 years ago,
Sorry.
like pre-COVID, do you think?
No chance.
No, I think
we set up RecWired in COVID,
During COVID, yeah.
during COVID, and it was like people needed a connection.
Yeah.
So, and then we realized, we have a one-man band and with your man who sold an S3 or something. So it was like, okay, now we need to get them all in their own groups, and then that was the best decision that we ever made. There's a big difference in independent recruiters to the 11-man business. I'd even go as far as to say a 6-man business is the same as an 11-man business in terms of the profile of the person, because as soon as you get past hiring your wife, your dog, and all of that there, and you get to having 3 consultants, you're in that proper league then, and you're asking the same questions because you want to get to 10 mostly.
Yeah, mostly, yeah, absolutely. In fact, yeah, it's been a great journey, a really sort of rewarding and satisfying journey. But again, it's like, you think RecWired, the peer-to-peer, I suppose, knowledge that your members value so much. It's the same principle, as I say, but just very specific to automation and AI. And at the end of the day, the use cases there's thousands. We'll never run dry of ideas.
And in sales, it's not just about making the sales. You want to keep your customers as well, right?
Of course, yeah.
That anything that you can do like that, community makes people sticky, especially when you're they'll be like, I'm going to miss out on that next thing that's going to automate this little piece. And
well, I mean, so often businesses will go to market not necessarily because they're disappointed with the tech, but they're disappointed with the service. They don't know how to unlock the tech's capabilities.
Yeah, we'll not name that company, right?
Indeed.
But thank you all the same.
but yeah, and it's, I think it's, these decisions are huge. They have massive implications for businesses, but I think there's a comfort in knowing that actually once you are live, there are resources, people that have been wearing the T-shirt that little bit longer that you can tap into and benefit from. And again, going back several years, even at the point of acquisition with Herefish, if you wanted to go and deploy an automation, that was off your own back to do that. Your own ideas, your own concepts, and there were many people that saw the light back then, admittedly, but then there was also quite a few people that were a bit hesitant for whatever reason, and this was all very new. But now, if you're a client coming on board today, well, you've got 150 ideas and 2 playbooks to get going straight away, so you don't need to go out and buy any consultancy from anybody. It's all
just better. Because I think that's part of the most difficult things with implementing any tech product, and we heard that today, is that a lot of them are great ideas, but it's the implementation of them. It's the implementation of them and how and where it goes from there. Because if you're busy, especially if you're an 11-man business,
spinning the plates,
spinning the plates. It's a great product, but actually I've got to sit down for 4 or 5 hours to do X, Y, and Z. Do you know what I mean? They haven't got the time. Well, actually, if it's right, this is all you
also,
need to do.
if it doesn't work, recruiters go, nah, fuck that.
Yes.
I'm not using it. So if you are putting something in, you have to be sure that they'll use it, and then you have to make them use it, and then you have to show them the results that they got from using it.
Or actually, especially with the AI and automation, put something in they don't use it. It just happens. It just happens.
Yeah, there's like a nice blend here, isn't there?
Runs in the background.
Nice blatant plug there.
Oh yeah, but also, but that's what we saw. I had a product which was a standalone product originally, and it worked when it was used. But getting anyone to use it was a nightmare. As soon as everything became automated, and we don't ask them to do anything; it just happens. It just happens. That's where we've seen the huge difference.
There's an argument, isn't there, to say, well, do you actually want when we talk about people adopting a system now, I think the definition of that is very different to what it was 5 years ago. There's an argument to say, why are you asking people to punch data in certain fields and things like that? Because if there are tools out there that can negate that,
sure,
let's just take it away.
Oh, big time.
Take it away.
The argument traditionally was that you're going to miss out on touch points with the customers. Automation will stop that. Now, the touch points have got better from an automatic perspective, but you still should be calling them and doing all of that there, and that should be part of your sales process. And then the other part was the data integrity from note taking and all of that. Now, automation's definitely almost solved the second bit there, but the first bit of data integrity, it has now, right? It's the note takers are putting the stuff in there. It's a whole different.
And again, those notes can be extrapolated so that actually they go and then take data from what was previously known as unstructured data and actually put that into fields, into structured data, so that you can report against that more efficiently and effectively. So again, it's just unlocking a whole new era of opportunity. I don't think it's too much of an exaggeration to say that. It's exciting.
Future of recruitment. If we look into a crystal ball, 5 years from now, what's going to have changed?
Well, the rate of change in this last 12 months alone makes you think, wow, where will it be? And
are we going to have my vision of the glasses are on? And
I'm going to take it back to the team, see what we can do. I mean, what I would like to think, in all the years that I've been at Bullhorn, we've been preaching like CRM first. I mean, unsurprisingly, right? We believe that Bullhorn should be your primary source for sourcing activities. And I'd like to believe that over the next few years, we'll see a real seismic shift of that becoming the case. And that reduction on external job boards, LinkedIn or whatever, that cost profile. Because genuinely, hand on heart, what is a frustration that we see sometimes when we know that businesses have got, say, like 85% of the data that they need. Do appreciate data needs replenishing over time, but again, 100,000 records, that's a lot of records, especially if you're a niche market operator. So there's an argument to say you've probably got the majority of what you need. If you did switch off external sources tomorrow, you'd probably survive. And if we can improve the quality of that data and the trust in that data, get people back on the phone a bit more, out and about with people a bit more, because a lot of that admin manual task really can now be saved. It can be virtually eradicated. Why do you need anything else?
Do you know what I'd like to do with the time that we've saved through automation today? I'd like to buy us both a nice pint of Guinness.
What
do you think about that?
Oh, that sounds good.
Controversial statement. I don't drink it, but maybe I can be swayed.
What? All right. Thanks very much, guys. That's us today.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right.